Hello there everyone, and welcome back to this Mahdist Rebellion War series. And as you know, we have already defeated the Mahdists, and we're dealing with the Ottomans right now. And I think we're going to do a little bit of a longer video for this one, to wrap it up. And so what we have is, we have three sizable I say. This one is the remnants of the army we've fought, so I think we're going to get Gordon to actually charge out, take those. Then Wolsey is going to go ahead and attack this army right here. And for the final part, we'll have Kitchener attack Damascus and take out the capital. The few units that I had at port, so we've got one army here, which is Blaine's army, which I set up. So we've got Blaine's army up there. And he's actually sent ahead an attachment right here, so both these units are part of Blaine's army, and they're going down. I sent them to take out this. Right now the Ottomans don't have any garrison here, but we'll see how that goes. Blaine's army will also possibly be attacking out into the desert as well, but we'll see how that goes. There's actually a small force here. But let's start off with the first things first. Let's have Gordon go ahead and destroy these. And you know what? This is so small of a unit, so it's more of a pushover. So I think we'll out-resolve that. Oh, so he didn't actually completely destroy them. And there we go. Now they're completely destroyed, and Gordon can return to. He doesn't even need to, for some reason. I guess they're happy enough as it is. We'll still send 2 men back to hold, and then the rest of this Gordon's troop will be able to hold this down as I capture the rest of the countryside. But now it's Wolsey's turn, so this army is dug in between the mountains, ready to hold up Wolsey at all costs, making sure that he is not able to reinforce Kitchener at Damascus. However, the Wolsey has British troops, a British army, and the Ottomans don't stand a chance. So without further ado, let's go into the first battle of this video, which will be Wolsey fighting over the I'm not entirely sure what this pass is called, but we'll name it after this. I'll sure it will name Wolsey's Pass. So without further ado, let's go straight into the battle. Right, and so here we are on the battlefield with Wolsey's army. I can imagine that the pass is either across the mountain somewhere there, it's maybe up through there, I'm not sure, it might be around here, but anyways, the Ottoman army is in our way, and we need to dispatch them. So I've decided to split up the army. Or really, I put a small detachment up here to be able to set up along here to see if, because I believe the enemy can actually move through here and possibly into the forest. So these guys will be able to come around here. They possibly even, I'm not entirely sure if it's possible, but it would be nice if we could even get up onto here, because from here we would have a pretty nice advantage down upon the enemy. So you know what, I might have 2 units, or maybe just 1 will suffice. Having 1 stationed here, or actually hidden, as we can see, and then we'll have these 2, see if they can march up to the very crest of this hill, and then the rest of the troops will advance over the open battlefield. So there I've got my plan. Let's go ahead and start. See if these guys can get up here. Yes, sir. So that's a go for that plan. And this unit will go ahead and set up here. So if the enemy tries to come into the forest and flank these troops as they advance across the field, he can shoot them down, and the cavalry will quickly move around. And Wolsey will put him actually up next to this unit, So he'll be protected up there. And yes, let's go ahead and just march forwards onto the enemy. Looking at the map and taking a look at the enemy, they had some archers. Seems like a very strange choice, but this mod was never really finished, so that's why the Ottoman have sort of this sort of more standard units of Napoleon Total War than like a lot of modded units. Most of the modded units come from the newer factions, like the Zulus and let's see, the Zulus, the Mahdists, and the British. And so I have a possibility here. I can see the enemy is repositioning in kind of a strange angle. So if we push our troops quickly up about here, we should be able to create local superiority and shoot these guys down. Now there is a risk, of course, of troops. It looks like they're actually coming through here, coming through this pass. How's it going with these men? It's going to take a while for them to actually get onto where I want them to be. And then we can get these guys to form along like that. It sounded like they were about to charge. I don't think that's going to work very well, because they're charging uphill into forest. And it's not that many enemies compared to how many British rifles are pointing down towards them. Although a lot of these bullets are being soaked up by the forest here, and the enemy is actually coming quite close. But they're dispatched before they contact with us. Same with the other units. I was about to just point at this unit and tell that it was about to get fired in the flank, or it was getting fired in flank. Only 8 men survived of this unit. The support from up here is good because it will shoot down the cavalry units that are coming on. And in response to the cavalry streaming onto the battlefield at this point, the units are firing at will. And we're gonna get this one on the very end to form into square. It looks like my diversory plan, or my plan to march up on the hill, is not going to be that useful, because the battle is more or less over by the point they get here. But I'm going to set them up anyways. Let's tell them to run to the position over here, so they can shoot down on the troops, which it looks like the enemy army is now in full retreat. Let's get the cavalry up here, see if they can help. And these two will quickly move to here, and the rest of the army will pull forwards. Right, so the enemy cavalry unit is actually able to get all the way up here. And I'll tell the men to form square to start shooting those guys down. And then we're pushing forward. This unit was absolutely destroyed right in the position where they stood. So they've fallen completely in that position, which kind of looks amazing, to the point where we even was surprised that they were destroyed. I thought maybe, we've got enemy cavalry moving in rather close here. We're gonna have to stop a bit early. I guess they're just moving close enough to force me to hold my advance, so I can't actually reach the rest of the army. This poor square of archers not doing too well. Oh, they're actually able to fire away a few arrows. Okay, so they've broken their formation. I'm gonna tell the lancers to charge, and they fire just before, and then they strike while the enemy's backs are turned, and it doesn't go well for the Armenian archers. At the same time, most of the enemy army is now actually retreating off the field. We have one unit though which is stuck here in the mountain region. For some reason they've decided to deploy stakes. Can I? Question is if we can reach them from here. I think we might just have lost our opportunity to fire at them. However, I still got my cavalry unit down here. Could quickly... Yeah, they were never really within range of my rifles, unfortunately. But it's up then to the cavalry to try and get these guys. You know what? We could possibly intercept them if we form into columns, because they seem to be going this way. They're trying to retreat uphill. So I'll get these two, go into column, and then charge along the hill crest here and try to get them if they try to come up this way. Otherwise it's down to the cavalry to chase them down as they're stuck there in the mountains. But at the same time we've got a second battle, so I'm not entirely sure. I'll probably just cut this part away, and then what we'll do is we'll jump into Kitchener and his battle. And as we can see before us, we have the statistics of the battle of Sir Wolsey and his army. The army forces were in numbers quite equal, but in skill and firepower very unequal, as we only lost 39 men compared to the enemy, which lost 1,000 men. The highest killer on our side was one of the infantry, but no spectacular amount of kills, 209 for one unit there. The enemy army, half of it though, still remains and is now retreating back to join in possibly the battle at Damascus. Let's see, can Gordon even join? Possibly. And then we have it, the last battle here. It's time for Herbert Kitchener. Do they have a fort here? No, they don't, but they have a shit ton of artillery. So we've got two armies. Still not the greatest battle we've had. There's more units on the British side. I don't think on British side we have had an army like this, because this is almost about 5,000 men, actually closer to 4,500, something like that. But yes, here we go, the last battle of the series, the Battle of Damascus, defeating the Ottomans. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and complete this colonial campaign. One last time, on to the field of battle. We've got Lord Kitchener right here, and I've put the main body of line infantry right across here, and then we have the Scots over here commanded by Colonel John. I've got the cavalry over here, and they're masking the advance of the artillery. Since the artillery has quite a short range, they're gonna have to move up quite far before able to open fire upon the enemy. That is my plan. Let's go ahead and execute it, shall we? Get the cavalry to advance first. And let's see, where do I have cannons? We're gonna get the cannons right up here, and then start shelling the enemy. The line infantry will start their advance as well. And then Colonel John and the Scotsmen, I'll actually drop that formation so I can make them into a proper line. We'll come across here. And there we go, the advance is underway. Who told you to stop working? Right, the artillery is in position. Let's tell them to set up. Oh, I've completely forgot the machine gun. Let's get that one forward as well. We're gonna move forwards. The dragoons, I'll get the dragoons to actually dismount next to the cannons, so we actually have a unit that's stationed next to the artillery. So right now the cavalry is holding off the enemy. Now we're gonna get the dragoons to dismount, and we're gonna redraw the infantry line, seeing as though the enemy is coming quite close. So it's gonna be a little bit more of an angle here, like this. We'll tell them to run into position, and the cavalry will now retreat up back the hill as Delhi horsemen are charging forwards. Shit, the cannons will switch to grape shot. And the enemy, just as they arrive at the dragoons, are getting them completely slaughtered. Let's get the cavalry to charge. No, I tell you to run, so you're not actually in the way of the fire. Let's get these guys into skirmish, moving forwards a bit, and then start shelling the enemy with canister, and then also fire from the lines. Keep up the fire, lads. Let's see, Stuart, or I mean Colonel John. Oh, I actually managed to get Colonel John and all the Scotsmen in on this as well, apparently. But they're gonna move over here and deal with these guys. Keep it up, lads. Let's see what kind of damage we're doing on the enemy side. The amount of firepower we're able to put down against these guys is quite an amazing amount, and is really stopping them. These guys advancing seemingly in column, not a great idea, getting absolutely destroyed as they try to advance. And some peasant levy, everyone's falling back. It's a complete disarray in among the enemy. We had some Azars trying to charge the line over here. Camel warriors moving up. We got a unit on the flank here. Move the Scotsmen into square. Camel warriors getting destroyed. I think it's time for the artillery to switch back to normal. Oh, they cannot once. It's a it's a problem with the mod. Once you've actually selected canister, you can't switch back. That's what they say. Once you go canister, you can't go back, apparently. They keep advancing here in basically column formation. We're gonna tell the infantry to hold fire for a bit. See if we can drag the enemy forwards. And that way letting them sort of come into the field of fire. Don't seem as though they're trying to advance anymore, so we're gonna advance for them. Oh, the camels are actually fighting with the square, and the square is broken apart. It didn't go that well for the camel guys though. Right. So the enemy is right there, but nothing is really happening. Tell the infantry to open fire. It's a shame I can't switch these guys back to fire round shot. The lines opened fire, and well, the Ottomans didn't really stand a chance. They didn't really have the numbers to fight us on this. Let's see if we can have the skirmishers try to advance closer on the enemy artillery. Hopefully. Oh, what are they firing at? Oh, they're firing at the lancers. The lancers can come around, try to attack them from there. But the only other units is cannon unit in there somewhere, and then these cannon units right here, which are kind of already trying to break apart. Let's get the cavalry up. Oh, they are actually they are clever enough to switch to canister. We'll give the Ottomans a last chance to try and deal some damage to us here. I think once these guys do a volley, it'll just absolutely destroy. Yeah, they did sort of. If they were a bit quicker, they probably could have gotten a canister shot off. But no. And there we have it. We just took Damascus, and it took us about 7 minutes to take Damascus. And yeah, we've defeated the Mahdist. They are forced into a, what should we call it, a reservation. We forced them into a reservation, and the Ottoman has lost their control over Syria and Lebanon and Palestine and whatnot. All these areas, they have lost control over to the British. Anyways, let's go back to the campaign map then. Close victory. And here we are with the statistics of the battle. So the enemy deployed 2,200 men, while we deployed 4,300 men. We lost 100 men, and the enemy lost 1,300, almost 1,400 men. Highest killer on our side was York and Lancaster Regiment. Highest losses was for the Royal Highland Regiment that was attacked by the enemy camel riders. And then we have the Dragoons, which lost 19. And then there's a few here and there that lost like 1 or 2 soldiers. But there we go. And I have victory. Once again, the British Empire stand victorious.
Egypt, a victory here is to stand alongside
Wait a minute.
Alexander.
I know that, Froggy.
To be almost a god.
Now what is
December
up with this Froggy taking my victory?
I was Notre Dame. With pride, I watched Napoleon become the Emperor of France. I found the French crown in the gutter, he said, and I picked it up. Vive l'Empereur!
Pwah! Bloody frogs! Take the. What is this? Pwah! Anyways, this was the cartoon mod. The campaign is over. Now there was some suggestions of maybe doing some extra episodes here of maybe doing the campaign as the Mahdists, or something like that. I think maybe what I could do is maybe some, like I did with the World War I campaign, and do some extra custom battles in the end. We can see about that. But I've already done a few. Well, I did one. I've already done one in my historical battle series for the Mahdist War, and then I've already done one for the Anglo-Sula War, where I went through a number of famous battles. But there's a possibility of just like doing, trying to do as massive a battle as possible. Say 4 AI armies full of Mahdist against like the best sort of set up British army that I can get, and we can see sort of how big of a massacre I can create. But yeah, those are some ideas. Hopefully you enjoyed this campaign, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.